Cute as a cupcake, where the cupcakes are more than just cute, they're delicious. You can order your cupcakes online and get them delivered to your front door. Go to www.cuteasacupcake3.com. Yes, that's www.cuteasacupcake3.com and have your cupcakes shipped to your front door. Like I always say, they're more than just cute, they're delicious. Good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And once again, thank each and every one of you for coming in and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I truly, truly appreciate it. So you heard that ad before the show started. You guys, for real, get to Cute as a Cupcake and order you some cupcakes. Order them online. And it's possible that you can even drop by the store at this point almost. So I'll suggest that you make a call beforehand. Make sure that they're open. Make sure that you can stop in the store. Or maybe you just order them online and you can pick them up. You can call them at 219-472-0858. That's Cute as a Cupcake, located at 2008 West 81st Avenue. That's Route 30 for the local yokels over there in Maryville, Indiana. Yes, that's 2008 West 81st Avenue in Maryville, Indiana. You guys get by Cute as a Cupcake. Seriously, those cupcakes are delicious. All right, so look, welcome to the show. Welcome. Come on in here, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us again on this Saturday or whatever day you happen to listen to the show. So by now, the show is listed on. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on iTunes. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on Stitcher, Spreaker.com, and you can even download my app. So yes, go to my app and you can get the show. Every show that's ever showed. It doesn't matter if you have an Android phone or an iPhone. You can get the 800 Credit Score Man Show. And of course, the app is free. So go download the app. Download the app today. Even if you prefer listening to the show on your Spotify or what have you, go get the app. Let's see what those numbers look like. So go get the app, 800 Credit Score Man. You can do that. Go to get the app. It's totally free. Android and iPhone. Go get the app, you guys. All right. So today, let me tell you this too before we get into the subject. The subject today, though, we are going to talk about obsolete credit information. Some of us are working off of old and outdated information. So we're going to talk about that today on the 800 Credit Score Man Show. And before we get to that, I want to make sure I tell you guys that, yes, May is the anniversary month. It's the anniversary month for the show. Started the show 4 years ago, still going strong. And so we're going to celebrate it. Last week I said I wasn't sure if we're going to do it the 23rd, or we're going to do it the 30th or what have you, but we're going to do the anniversary show on May the 30th. So May the 30th, if you have any suggestions for the anniversary show, or any show for that matter, if you have any suggestions, please hit me up, send me an email, send me a smoke signal, let me know what you want to talk about on the 800 Credit Score Man Show, and I do my very, very best to get to it and explain that subject, discuss that subject with the masses. So you can always contact me at 800@creditscoreman.com. Yes, that's 800@creditscoreman.com. You can do that. So anniversary show will be on May the 30th, Memorial Day weekend. That'll be the anniversary show for the 800 Credit Score Man Show. 4 years running, all right? So today, we're going to get into obsolete credit information. So we're going to discuss what is and what was, if you will. Too many of us are still dealing with this old, outdated credit information. So some of this information that no longer helps your credit score, and it could definitely hurt. And some of this information was never true. It was just what we went off of when it came to, trying to deal with our credit, trying to improve our credit and things of that nature. So the information is so old that some of it has even become a myth at this point. So we're going to talk about several of those things today on the 800 Credit Score Man Show. And the very first one I want to discuss with you today is paying collections helps my credit. Wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. So this isn't outdated because really it was never true. It was never true that paying your collections by itself, just paying the collection itself, helped your credit. The removal of that particular collection helped your credit. But people would often think, I got a collection, if I pay it, it's going to be removed from my credit report, or they just thought that it being paid actually helped them with their credit. It was never true. That was never true. So now, let's slow down for a minute as well, because some of you that use Credit Karma and some of these other places and you actually go through it to find out, you go through it and you'll find out that now they give you a few scenarios of what your credit score could look like. It's almost like a simulation, what your credit score would look like if you take action on a collection. So on those particular sites, you'll find typically 3 different scenarios. One scenario, if you pay it in full and your credit score will go up X amount of points, right? The next scenario you'll see, if you negotiate a settlement on it, your score will increase this amount of particular points, right? Which is not as much as it does if you were to pay the collection in full in their scenarios. And the third thing you'll see is removal. Total removal of your collection will raise your score, this amount of points, which is the most points in their 3 scenarios that they typically give you on those kinds of sites. Now, this is mostly true, or let's say it's partially true. This is mostly true. Let me repeat that. The newer FICO models do make these distinctions between paying in full, settlements, and removal of your collections. The newer models, they do. Now, in this instance, when I say newer models, I'm referring to FICO 9 and FICO 10. Keep in mind, though, that most lenders have not upgraded to these models. FICO 10 is the very newest. FICO 9 didn't do well at all in terms of lending institutions gravitating toward it and, upgrading to the FICO 9. It didn't do well at all. FICO 10 came out really, really soon comparatively to how they usually work after 9, because 9 didn't do it, in my opinion. Let's do this. In my opinion, FICO 10 came out fast because 9 didn't do well. It didn't sell well for FICO. It didn't sell well, so 10 came out really quickly, hoping to capture more lenders to get that in there. So make no mistake, you want to deal with your collection. Some people, credit gurus, your cousins, your aunts, your sisters, and your brothers, and your boo say don't pay collections at all, don't deal with them at all. I'm not of that mindset. Some of the things you do have to pay if you want to increase your credit score in a relatively short amount of time. But there are a lot of other things that you can do prior to that, and there are a lot of other factors that come into how you want to deal with these collections, period, total, point blank, that's it. There's a lot of other factors that need to go in there. And if you're going to deal with the collection, what are you going to do? You want to negotiate for removal from your credit report. I don't care what collection it is, you want to negotiate for removal of your credit report. All right? So you definitely want to do that, because that's how it's going to help you the most, no matter which model a place is using. So if a place is still using FICO 3, if you have it removed from your credit report, that collection removed from your credit report, it's going to help your credit score on FICO 3. On FICO 5, it's going to help your credit score on FICO 5. It's going to help your credit score on FICO 7. And these new ones we're talking about, 9 and 10, it's going to help you even more than just paying a collection. All right, so you want to make sure that you do that. So that was one of the first things that I wanted to address with you. And if I confused you at all, you can always contact me. But paying a collection helps my credit. That is not necessarily the case. It may in some instances, but not always. Give me a call if you are contemplating paying a collection or dealing with the collection in any way. always hit me up. So you can contact me, 800@creditscoreman.com. 800@creditscoreman.com. Send me an email about that, and we can discuss. The second thing I want to talk to you about, since we're talking about collections, are all collections created equal? That's the question. Are all collections created equal? Well, no, they are not created equal. A medical collection is handled differently now than it was in the past. So a medical collection is handled differently than it was in the past. In the past, a medical collection would be treated just like a collection from a phone carrier. So it didn't matter if it was way back in the day and it was a landline, or if it was your cell phone. A collection would be treated the same. If it was your cable bill, treated the same. Whatever you were being collected for would be treated the same. That's no longer the case. Medical collections are treated totally different. It was 2015. I think it was around 2002. Well, no. If this was 2015, because that was 5 years ago, man, time is flying. If it was 2015, you could say that they were all handled the same way. But that's no longer the case because it's 2020. So a change happened with medical collections a couple of years ago when the powers that be, I'm putting up air quotes, when the powers that be decided that having medical collections, because medical collections and medical debt was the number one reason for people filing bankruptcy. And it had been for years, but finally somebody stepped up to try to do something about it. So what they decided was that if you have a medical collection, that doesn't mean that you're not financially responsible, and that they shouldn't hurt your credit. It doesn't mean that they don't put it on your credit report and things of that nature. However, but just because you have a medical collection, because typically what happens, you have a medical emergency. It's not something that you're planning for. You're not necessarily saving for something for the most part. So that doesn't mean that you don't handle your finances responsibly. So they want to give some kind of reprieve, some kind of help in that regard. So once you pay a medical collection and it reflects on your credit report that it's paid, that it has a zero balance, then you no longer are being hurt by that collection being on your credit report. So there is a change in there. That is a change. Medical collections are not treated the same as, say, your Sprints, your T-Mobiles, your your iPhones, your AT&T, and anybody else that can put a collection on your credit report. They're no longer treated the same way. All right. So if you had to prioritize, and let's say you got some collections on your credit report, and you had to prioritize these things, and some of them were medical, some of them from other entities, no matter what it is, the first thing you want to do, if your goal is to increase your credit report, the first thing you want to do is handle your medical collections. Take them first. If you're doing them all at the same time, if you're trying a shotgun approach, if you're like, I'm going to do payment plans with all of them, and I'm going to pay this person $50 a month, and that person $50 a month, and this person $5 a month, start with your medical collections. Medical collections are the ones that will help your credit score the most, whether, and this is another tip for you, whether they come off of your credit report or not. So, of course, like I just said, always negotiate for removal. But when a medical collection, it comes to medical collections, whether it comes off your credit report or not, it's still going to help your score, or at least it will stop hurting your score. Let's put it like that. It'll stop hurting your score. So it's, again, worth noting that this only applies to like FICO 8 and up. So, like I said, a lot of places didn't, jump on board with FICO 9. But FICO 8 and up, this medical portion helps you. So if a person or entity that you're dealing with happens to pull your credit report and they're still using FICO 5, this medical collection portion that I just explained to you doesn't matter. Your credit score is going to be hurt by that, and it's going to be lower. So if you call one place and they happen to be using FICO 5, and then for financing for whatever it is, and you call another place and they happen to be using FICO 8 or FICO 9 or even FICO 10, your credit score is going to be higher at those places that are using the newer models. That's just pretty much how it works. All right. So, and they don't have to upgrade. And a lot of places have not upgraded for whatever reason, whether it's money or whether they are comfortable with that particular